and we are even almost on almost on schedule, which has been slightly uncommon very lately. So also in that respect, looks like a good day as far as streaming goes. So good Thursday to all, and we are doing, as even mentioned on the schedule, we are doing Project Highrise. So let's see if we finally succeed at building a fountain to the lobby, which was, do think the original mission was like that. Build a fountain to the lobby to complement the famous painting Victory of Architects, which most probably is then well famous. So, in that respect, let's see how our save game was doing, because it's been a year, to think, since we have actually played Project Highrise. So, hopefully our game is in good condition, save game wise. So, let's see about that next, and otherwise, let's see about moving towards the game, but of course we do otherwise. So the Mordrude's outfit for tonight of a bit. There's also foot pause worth seeing if that gets redeemed. So let's start. And indeed, good to see you all, and greetings, Ruby. It's always good to see you. You are very nice Bob. So let's then see about loading our save game, which do remember not much about. So should be interesting as far as it goes. Here we go. So we do have the save we did, and then we have the auto save, which practically just has a couple of people like moved from that room to the elevator. So let's load our saved game. If it works. Yep. Yeah, the new fountain. You've already achieved this scenario goal. So, we have actually done everything needed. Is that the case? Yeah, there's the fountain. Oh yeah, I do remember the fountain is ridiculously small when you consider the whole thing, like really. And we are turning pretty good profit, so it's like another scenario, or if we have achieved all the scenario goals, kind of do think that we should start next one. Also would be good to learn how to actually scroll how to scroll up or down in terms of the building. As we zoom there, alright. So how do we move up or down? It's been a while, so save current game options. Quit the main menu. Let's do that first and see about like what new games we have, like start a new building. Empty lots. Alright. Do we have other scenarios? Yes, that we have done, so next scenario it is. Difficulty medium. This is depressing. That sounds very motivating. Alright, so Lakepoint Tower, difficulty medium. Time was that downtown was a place only for work and play. It was the heart of the city. Alright. And what is wrong now? Recently, cities far and wide have witnessed searches of new residents that want to call downtown home. Get in on the action by building a shiny new apartment tower. It doesn't look very big yet, like what we have, like a cellar. Alright, so apartment building it is. So let's then go for the apartment tower. Sounds good. And then we shall try for apartments. So we'll see what the victory conditions are. Alright. Residence and retail. Residence, alright, we shall have still 8 stores, so it's not purely residential. Oh, hello there, Ham. Great to see you. Let's also greet you properly. So let's then see about, as said, let's also greet you properly. So if we would also go to the right window, there we go, so we can switch the hello, good to have you joining. So let's then continue with the game scenario, and also of course show the bodysuit a bit. So let's go for the game and see about what the other. Alright, people move to neighborhoods because they visit them first. Restaurants are a great new way to intro people to a new neighborhood. Restaurant patrons, so 150 residents, so more, and 12 restaurants. Alright, that's quite a bit. 50 visitors in your building at one time. Alright, prestige. But the proverbial cherry on top of your tower by exceeding even the city's wildest expectorations. Alright, so yes, prestige. Luxury loft. That sounds very fancy. Yeah, that's not going to be the most fancy thing yet. Alright, so that shows the scenario goals. And then we do not even have a lobby. We have water and power and maintenance office. Apparently we have construction office. Yeah. And we have trash room. Nice. Then we do not even have just stairs. So how much we do have money? 5,000. Alright. First of all, we should at least expand that, and then add at least a couple of floors. Let's see how we are apartment width wise, because we also have to build the utility cabinets. So it's like, let's see if we would add like the normal. This is the medium apartment, so including utilities it would be alright. That has the balcony, so and, this is actually bigger, like the. Alright, you can also fit at least 2 of those on a floor, so should be acceptable. So we need to add the wiring closet on each floor. And also the plumbing. That went well design wise. Let's try again. Alright, and then we still have the problem that we actually have to use kind of like 2 spaces, because the water is located quite. Alright, that works. And now we can add the power line and water line. And then we need way to ascend, so let's see if we build somewhat more space and actually add an elevator. So let's actually add like, how much does the elevator take space? Alright, it's like three tiles to think. Yes, so let's build 3 extra tiles to think it's considerably easier solution to expand a bit rather than to make the floors really narrow. So, and then we built the elevator here, so no, hello there, Atrox. It's been a while since you have been actually joining, so actually this game is not weird in the respect that this is actually practically a love letter to Sim Tower, and that was a big thing back in the day, so in that respect this game is actually quite, wouldn't say normal, but it's quite it was a big thing back in the day. So let's greet also you properly, Atrox. It's been a while and certainly miss seeing you at the ski vacation. It's always good to see our good lion. So let's then see about building more parts to our apartment building next. So let's then so let's then continue with the game. We certainly have a lot to build still, so let's also save the game the first time. So indeed, Lake Point Tower, it's not yet very fancy. There we go, and now we have even elevator, this newfangled innovation to transport people between floors, so your building staff can't get where they need to go. We have already solved that, so yes. And then, yep, and some are even taking the stairs down. Lobbies, we should build a lobby. Alright, would like to build actually only one floor lobby, so this is probably for fancier lobbies. Maintenance office we already have. Once we get the initial works finished, so we should then be able to add some apartments, so that actually starts allocate space for apartments indeed. Once the floors are actually finished. Was there any kind of receptionist for the front office, like building consultant? Yeah, and then we have the apartment dwellers, handyman services, plumber, not present, no demand, unsurprisingly not yet. So we are gradually getting the floors finished too, so let's speed up a bit so that we get the floors done a bit faster, because we can't exactly build apartments until the floors are furbished. So there we are going. So we can technically build the first apartment most probably now. Yes. There we go, so we have furnished an apartment, then we just need that also to be furbished like. So now our good handyman is also taking care of that. There we go. And now we can most probably put it out for rent, so yes. Waiting for new residents to move in. Good. So now we can build more of those. Let's start firmly with the... How does the one with the balcony work? Alright, so it just reserves space for the balcony. I'm not sure if spending space for the balcony is such a great idea. So we can fit 2 of those in. To see a loan in our future still at this point, most probably. Alright, now we have even a tenant. Why do I feel like someone is watching me? It might be a werewolf. You never know. So, Mr. Arthur moved in. Then we should see about at some point building also some minor retail and restaurants. So, small store. We can also put those on the first floor. So, let's put a bit of retail, food and beverage stores, portable electronics, drug stores, flower stores, wine and spirit stores. That sounds good. Record stores, sunglass shacks. That sounds like, why does it have to be a shack? Alright, do think that for now we would like to put up. Presties need at least 1 storeroom, 1 empty bay required. Alright, so we need to also add some storage. Car demo booth, wine tasting booth, knife demo booth. Yeah, those are quite fancy options. How about a knife demo booth? Right, another tenant is now available to move in. Food stall. We can also have like that. Actually takes so little space that we can fit one also here. 0 potential tenants. Then we need to wait for that, but at least we have the facility, because there wouldn't be more apartments fitting that position. So how do we build the storage for the retail? We remember it for you. Wholesale. We haven't yet built offices because we are like in the retail and especially apartment business. So, and how is our load? 30% utilization, 30% utilization. So that's not yet a major issue like that we would be running out water or power yet. Alright, and who's our other tenant? Soan, I'm having a good day. Alright. And 10 citizens demand marina or something. Something about as useful. So here our problem. Alright, now we have potential tenants. Mary's Scottish BBQ stand. Catherine's Russian BBQ stand. Lakeview frozen treats. Quality fork dumplings. Alright. We do prefer Scottish BBQ over Russian BBQ today, and they pay more rent, so now we have also a food available. We are still missing like two bits here, which is dumb. Like, why? Workmen, do something. Be useful. Alright, now they are building the Scottish BBQ. So some evening BBQ there maybe. Alright, and we have enough funds to actually continue building for now. Budget overview, unsurprisingly, because we have been building tenant overview, so we have gotten some population also. 2 happy people. It's amusing that the printout also shows like a very happy or not so happy. Yes. Alright. So let's then see about that. Would be nice to get done, so let's speed up for a bit so that we actually one day finish this spot and get more apartments done. Finally. Hey you workmen, why don't you do that a bit better? There we go, and now we can build one more apartment. And we still lack prestige. We can probably build something useful. Still wondering where you construct like the storage facilities. Yes. So we can build storage. Alright, that's quite a bit. We should actually expand the cellar a little in any case, so daily budget summary. Unsurprisingly, our budget was not very strong yet, as we mostly have building expenses and not that many tenants, so then we can speed up for a bit so that the next two places get built and the additional cellar space gets built, so we can add storage bay at some point. We should also get one prestige star hopefully one day. So starting to gradually get more tenants hopefully. Let's see what our... They are still satisfied, but they have had this far 0 customers. Of course it was finished quite late. Right, we have another tenant, so that improves our finances gradually, hopefully. And we should really be adding the next floor quite soon also. We do have maintenance office, so alright, quite aware that the elevator problems will not make people happy. And it seems to work, alright. So we should probably add a floor for more apartments. There we go, we also most probably have to take out a loan at some point. But now we have all buildings occupied, so our income also started to increase a bit, which is a bit better. So we most probably have to take loan at some point. City contracts. Alright, that was not yet what we would like to do. So do you think that there was some way to also take a loan towards the start of the game? So we now do have the 4 tenants, but it's not exactly yet. Yeah, there it is. So credit card, we would like something maybe a bit bigger. Payments 20 times 300. That appears more useful. Yeah, that has quite high interest comparatively. So it's like most probably go with that, and now we can actually build more apartments. So utility cabinets first. Alright, not much use extending the wiring to the elevator. There we go. Also water available, and then we can add more apartments. So we could then also build the, now that we have expanded the cellar, we could also build the storage. How do we actually scroll? Alright, it's by the arrow keys, so there we go. Now we also have storage available, so we can add retail tenants immediately once we have the 1-star prestige. So we need still more tenants. So let's immediately then add another floor so that we are gradually expanding. So use the loan to actually expand the building sufficiently. Maybe they are even getting, alright, they are getting some revenues. Right, we can probably speed up for a bit. Then we need a single prestige star to add any retail. So we need a bit more tenants. No wonder it looked like we had too much space, because we were missing the utility cabinets, so. There we go. Alright, and why are you not? I'd love a cup of coffee right about now. Yeah? We could of course add a coffee thing. Let's see about that. That is at least something that could most probably be done. Cafes. Building doesn't meet requirements. Needs at least one prestige star. Yeah. New Orleans hoagie joint. Alright. This has the best rent, so. Yeah, you could use a cup of coffee. That's hard to do. Could not dispose of trash yesterday. Ah, yeah, we have to add trash bins to the floors. Alright, your dream of a trash bin has been fulfilled. Now you at least have trash bin. Yeah, I didn't first remember that you also need to put trash bins into place. So a restaurant actually makes it very hard to add a trash bin. Alright, we should probably lower the rent also a bit, like rent is lower than expected. We can probably make a bit lower and see. Now they can dispose of trash, so maybe they are happier. And everyone of course hears of the one unhappy guy. Oh well. Let's see if he's happy with his new trash options. Alright. We had a lot of revenues because we took the loan. Yeah, that's one way. We do have pretty high operating costs. Curious to actually see what is the operating cost driver. Infrastructure, utilities, and then we have the loan payments. Alright. So what are the yeah, it's hard to lower those really because we are not doing the phone. We have only electricity and water, and do think those are needed anyway, so alright, now they could dispose trash, so maybe they will at some point get happier, we'll see. We should then like just keep adding apartments. Alright. There's like the point at which we actually make enough with the rents to cover the operating costs, so does the storage actually generate any operating costs? We can of course. Yeah, it's also 400 per day, so that's actually when we can't get the star yet, so we should probably can we like disable it for now. Let's remove it because we can build that again, so that should lower our operating costs considerably. And now the floor is even equipped with the trash bin, so alright, now they are satisfied at the trash, so the satisfaction is increasing. And now we have more apartments, so we should be increasing the revenues as we now have additional tenants, so we should most probably immediately keep adding another floor again so that we get more rent income. because at 20 residents we get the first star. So in that respect we should push our utilities doing 80% utilization, so we are alright, we are at 100% electricity utilization, so we have to see at some point about adding new. Electricity transformers, which are quite expensive. It's like one of the things you run into trouble with is like you would need more electricity transformers, and then it's like you just run out of funds to do that. So let's see how our overall budget situation will develop. Now we at least should have more income with the additional tenants. And remember to add the trash bin. Then we need to improve the utilities, but we do have the overall extend the utilities, and then we will next have the problem that we need another, because they also add upkeep, so it's kind of a problem. Let's see how our budget will do the next day when we get new data, and then see if we are going to yet extend the utilities in that respect, as we now have 100% consumption for the electricity, so it's kind of scaling the utilities is one major issue. Right now we are pushing only minus 270 per day, so most probably we will have the same problem. At least build the utilities here, and then consider later how to. At least we do not need the cable TV yet. Now we can build tenants here. The main problem is that we will run out of electricity, like we go over maximum utilization, but at least they do probably produce revenue, so and then we can consider like taking more loans, so we get into even more trouble with that. And now we have no electricity, but we have tenants, so will be interesting. Let's slow it down now that we have tenants. We should probably like, yeah, beware of the high interest, yes, but now we can also improve the facilities, it's like. Replacing those with one bigger one. Alright, now they might be happier as they have electricity, and do think the water is now at yes, 100%. Alright, and they are in turn missing the trash, so let's remove that and add everyone's favorite trash container. Right, we can't build it until the workers remove the remains of the restaurant, so there we go. Now our next problem is the water supply. So at least now we should theoretically have like almost sufficient. Almost sufficient amount of tenants to actually push a positive result. And these have increased satisfaction because they now have electricity. This is still alright, so we could now add another food stall. Lakeview quality fork dumplings, sure. And then we can for now remove the retail that never did anything. And we can add more restaurants, like let's have restaurant problems. So now we at least have sufficient amount of restaurants, so let's see. Now we can add more tenants, so that should also push further revenues. Alright, that person moved out, unsure why. So does the apartment also explode so that you have no apartment left even? Now our revenues actually exceed our expenses, so though only temporarily. Right, we should probably try another apartment there. How's our water situation? Alright, here we of course have capacity. The main problem is that because a lot in upkeep to keep two of the small electricity thingies, which is the issue with. We should probably just add another apartment and hope for more satisfied customer. There we go. Rent is too high, we should be paying less, so lower it one step and see how they do. everyone is getting too few customers. Let's see how it goes with the lowered rent. In general, do think that there should be a bit more traffic in the building, really. So we need to build one of the offices to use the prestige or like the influence things. So we have almost 20 residents, so it's like probably need to just start pushing another floor in and then see if we can do funding wise. We will also need to improve the water facilities at some point, but it's better to have at least the floor itself ready. So now we have a lot of tenants, but let's see how that goes. Including the restaurants that do not seem to see much traffic. At least we have restaurant competition, but not very many customers. Alright, this is pushing some customers. So we have 19 tenants. It would be kind of an idea to build one more apartment to go up a level. It also just costs so that we should be able to push a profit at some point. Electricity we do have, so because for water we need new. So let's build for now only facility for 10 at one apartment, so then we will get the first prestige star in terms of apartment amounts. So we need to also improve the water supply, but then that again increases the operating costs. The utilities are kind of a problem, because these are also like 250 per day of upkeep, and when you consider the rents you get out of tenants, it's kind of, it's not totally a winning game with the, it's one of the like the cost of utilities until you can build the bigger utilities that are like 2000 per day, because when you consider like this adds 50 water, so it's much better price wise, but as said, the utility scale kind of poorly. So we have like apartment, it has no water. So it's kind of, yes, good idea, but so it might be that we should start again, but unsure what to change to get more tenants, considering the kind of like issue with the scalability, because then we most probably do not get more loans, so it is kind of problematic that we have to actually get somehow more finances. So it's kind of like yes, and it might not work out. So yes, this is considerably more demanding than the previous scenario, do agree. And it costs like 500 to construct, so we can exactly build that, but can't build water pipes. So nope, not currently. So now we have one more prestige, but it doesn't exactly help. Let's consider the budget a bit, like what we are actually. Because we are pushing on 750 only for maintenance. Elevator also costs maintenance, so if we used stairs, they have only $20 maintenance, so yeah. So we have rent revenues only. We have increased that, but the problem is that we are also practically having higher expenses, so and practically it's like utilities are easily the main expense, so to think that it's not actually possible when considering this scenario to become net positive at these rates, like we can increase rent, but to think that people then move out, exactly, rent is too high. So it's kind of this solution of like building mostly the cheap apartments is clearly not going to be a success in this scenario now that we have tested it once. Hello there, Briareus, let's greet you properly, because there will be also a restart of this scenario in our immediate future, because that is not viable. Hello, good to see you. We are still doing about 20 minutes and then finish here as usual 1.5 hours, so good to see you. So let's then do a restart, because this is actually unsustainable. Not totally surprised that sometimes it doesn't exactly work out, because clearly those apartments are too low income overall. So let's do a restart of the scenario and see about these are also in this order, so this is again easy. The merchandise mart. The deal with not so great economy, so it's considered still easy. This is depressing. Yeah, so let's restart this and see about. Because mostly it's like residents and retail, yeah. And now the main issue again is that we should most probably see about, can we push higher rents with different overall apartment style. So first of all, let's make it a bit wider. Reason, then we get more apartments in it. Make it even wider actually, like by 3 tiles, so that we account for the stairs. And we are going to use stairs because stairs have less maintenance. They are not going to be unhappy yet at this amount of stairs, most probably. And let's see the overall how many apartments. Let's try the ones with the balconies. They take more space, so it's like 1, 2, and then we have to have the truss and we have to have utility cabinets. So we need 2 spaces for the truss. Then we need 2 spaces for the utility cabinets, so it's 2 plus 4 plus 3. So we need 1 more block so that we have the utility cabinets, and then it's also that we would need to have the, so can we practically extend the basement also, and then because the electrical line already goes on the underground as does the water, can we actually just build the utility cabinet on the side? Yes. This will work, and that solves a lot of issues. Alright, and then we need to build the actual connections. Let's do the upper floors first, because those will have tenants first with the apartments, and then we can consider restaurants to the lowermost floor. Alright, and let's switch. We have watched Mordrude for a good while, so let's again make the game bigger. There we go. So admire the Fursuit for a bit also, which is if sometimes forget to switch the view, unless of course you enjoy, which is fair enough, enjoy the Fursuit for a while, then of course do note in the chat, as sometimes forget to push the right button or miss it a bit. So alright, now we are getting space where we can put apartments, so let's try the bigger ones with the balconies, and now it works as intended. Alright, that was a misclick, because do think, did we? No, we have space for the trash. And then we built the trash rooms. Alright, that is interesting. We have exactly opposing balcony setups. Let's see if these produce more revenue. And we do now even have truss. These each pay 250. So once those all have tenants, we should actually think pushing a profit. Yes, because our operating costs are 900. So we should be pushing a profit after we have 4 of those in use. And now we can add like restaurants. Alright, now we have options for restaurants. Alright, this is at least looks different, so let's see if this works better. Theoretically it at least should be able to turn a small profit with those. So then we need to get more tenants here, so someone is unhappy certainly. Yeah, food would be popular. That would be kind of like the idea. So we do have lunch. And if we extend electricity, we can add also these. So do we get breakfast possibilities here? Serves lunch. So we probably need the other kind of retail for breakfast. It's some would also like a cafe, but it's hard to get a cafe until you have more prestige. So right, it would be good if also people would move into those two, so it's actually quite difficult if you get no tenants for the other two. Right, we are now pushing parcel delivery needed. Our mail deliveries won't work here. Apparently these two have tenants, so we need more services. Let's see. We are actually pushing a small profit, so Now we dare to take out the bigger loan and then expand a bit more aggressively. So alright, that has pretty high upkeep cost. Plumber. So the parcel delivery service is most popular. It unsurprisingly has also the highest. Maintenance cost. So let's see if we build trash pickup service. That also has quite high maintenance cost. Let's do package delivery first because that was asked for by 2. And then with the other amount of funding we add the floor. And then we add a trash bin. That's also a bug because these actually have tenants, because it shows that the tenants are unhappy at something. Alright, and we need electricity here, so actually there we go. Perhaps it's time to consider elevators, yeah. Which are much more expensive to maintain. So let's see how long we can go with the stairs. Stairs only. Also for cargo. Donut shop. Alright. Let's add a donut shop, so something different. Donut shop serves breakfast, so maybe that improves satisfaction. Plumbing services needed. Plumbing services needed. Trash pickup service needed. Plumbing service, trash pickup service. Yeah, it's like everyone. These are more expensive, so they also want more. Right, and this needs water. They want much more services. Great. Then we have to also extend the basement. plumbing and so they are unhappy at the lack of trash pickup services and plumbing, so let's see how you can also build a plumber on the first floor or even on the upper floors. Wow. Let's put the plumber on the upper floor. Or like can we wait for that to be built first, or do the people move out immediately? Let's see. There we go, now we can add plumbing. There we go, now we shall have plumbing soon. And as an observation, plumbing, word of plumbing comes from the Latin plumbum for lead, so the original pipes were made of lead, so right, this, let's see how much our breakfast place, at least this seems to do some revenue, but it's like, alright, now we have plumber, so then the trash pickup will be next, because all of these are after a plumbing service. Everyone wants a plumbing service, so now we at least have solved the plumbing service conundrum. And then we should most probably let's again add the buildings with the balconies and see, like, yeah, and again do the, because that's apparently the right base patio, so here we do, alright, let's do both right patio here, so our apartment has odd design because the balconies vary, so it's like every floor has different layout compared to each other. Sure, works. And then we have a lot of stair exercise, but now they should be happy because plumbing exists. Let's see how much the trash pickup service takes space, because if we have people leaving, it won't produce revenue, so no demand is not quite true. That's also 150 a day. How much space does it take? Exactly a bit more than there. So let's at least anticipate that by building like a couple of extra cellar bits. There we go. It only fortunately costs like $11. So now we have plumbing and everything. So maybe people are happier once they get some plumbing. Alright, and now we at least have alright, we also had a move out, so but now we do have plumbing and we can even build the trash pickup. Let's see how far we get, like we need to then empty that and maybe build the other kind of apartment there, but now we can add the trash pickup service, so maybe we get people to stay at some point, like no demand is not quite true when you look at the Alright, what are the conditions to build that actually? Expect straw spins on the same floor. So practically it should be built in the same place as the trash room, do think. So again, time to like extend the basement. Now we at least have more basement space. So, and what are you now unhappy about? We do have a plumbing service and it's operational. Alright, we'll see. Alright, they also moved out, which is surprising, like, considering that we are actually trying to provide the services. Let's see if we lower the rent, like, they are happy at the low rent, but we do now have plumbing service, so deals with all kinds of pipes and things. Your tenants are moving out. Trash pickup service needed. Yes, we considered building that, but it needs to be on that floor. So, and there our good people are spending their time emptying the area. Tenants out. That was not as planned. They also went to the restaurant. The restaurateur is almost turning a profit. And these now have happy tenants, but that is like, yeah. Can we now get food stalls? No. And they are kind of with the lowered rent. Alright, now we can build the trash pickup service also, so maybe people are happy at that amount of services and we can reinstate the other apartments safely, like now we can have, or we have a plumber. And now we have the trash pickup service. And do we have electricity going in? Not yet, so. And how's our electricity consumption? 90%, so. We can probably remove that. That didn't work out. These are in turn still happy, and this is even almost turning a profit, so. Now we have trash pickup service, so maybe we dare to reconstruct the apartments. We have improved our service selection. Let's put them this way this time, so maybe that works better. More luck, one might hope. We shall see. At least this is doing somewhat better in the overall sense of financial success. But alright, and we are coming up to the... Alright, let's do 2 hours. Still feeling like trying to get through this, so let's do 2 hours and there we go. So we do have some viewership and having quite a good time. So certainly, let's do 2 hours. Oh. So let's continue and see if we this time succeed. In that sense, we'll see. All right. Now we at least again have. Now we could save again and just overwrite that thing, because the previous try was not a success. Alright, nice apartment with a small outdoor space to the right. They are actually satisfied. Wow. Trash pickup service needed. We do have an operating trash pickup service. It's missing electricity. Apparently. Shouldn't be. Alright, we are out of electricity, so yeah, then we have a fun with utilities, because that is like 2000 to build, and let's add another normal sized one for now. Now we are not out of electricity, so we have operating trash pickup. We are not out of electricity and we are not out of water, so I can actually, now that let's increase their rent also to the normal ratio, and now we do have trash pickup service, so they should be more satisfied. Alright, let's run for a bit and see how our budgeting goes now that we have actually no. We do have 6 apartments that are actually functional. We do have trash pickup service, but now we do at least have a satisfied tenants, and we do have even one prestige level, so we should be able to have a cafe. Operating costs are 1900. How is that possible? Let's see about the budget. The operating costs of the utilities are like one way to die, certainly. Now that we have the prestige star, I do think we can also get like the cafe type things. Still no interest for food stalls. Let's see if we build normal restaurant spot. Now we can also add a cafe. Alright, that's fancy. And now we need also both water and electricity. Alright, the cafe has electricity. And water needs to be extended, like what? There we go. So now we can have also a cafe. And these are actually satisfied, this part, though. The revenue is kind of almost pushing a profit, so. These are actually satisfied, but it's so expensive to run that. Alright, the cafe is also done, so. It looks like that's quite popular, like the cafe immediately got everyone and their dog wanted to go to the cafe, like really. It got totally slammed. Alright, we have 2 regulars who like us. We are gaining more regular customers. Alright, that seems like a good thing. Works at the cafe, so the cafe at least immediately. They just need to push a lot of traffic also when you consider that their rent is also 155, so it's kind of like, yeah, your revenue is quite high, but it's also a problem. So let's see what the people are thinking. It's a nice day today, so yes, the apartments are happy as we have service, but the service has got so much to run. And then we also had a problem that now we have electricity, but then we run out of water. It's still 8, so we can actually build another floor technically. And another floor would add 500 of revenue, so we should then be, as long as we do not need to add anything else, we would theoretically be profitable. So it's like, yep. And then we take out the other loan that also adds costs, so it's still a really touch and go. Because building the apartments itself doesn't cost money, it will be the utility cabinets to be quite built. It's like these are only 50, so it's actually, do think, almost doable. Like, hey, how would you like your absolute minimum budget? Alright, we run out of money without making the power lines, so we take the more expensive loan and then we finish that floor. So our problem will be that we actually have quite high interest rates. Works. So let's see if we can now actually push a profit, so we can now build the rest of the electrical line and at the trash room. then we need to wait until that is actually furbished, so speed it up and let's see how our cafe is doing. Yeah, it's doing. It's almost pushing a profit. Wow. Big thing, the cafe. So theoretically, with 2 extra apartments, we should be quite close to profitability. Theoretically, that is. These, is it possible to actually have 3 of these? Looks like it. But how much rent does one do when we consider that difference if these two each 250? And how much does the studio do? Let's see. We can add a deluxe studio, but it requires also gas hookup. Yeah. These two 150, and if we can put 3 of these compared to the, we do get 450 from these, so it's actually not, unless you can do the deluxe ones which want the gas. How much does it cost to add the gas thingy? Because it has maintenance also, so it might be that it's not really. Yeah, 350 per day. So they do pay rent what? Really? $225, and if we can put 3 of those, it will be 450 plus 675, so it would pay more if we can put 3. Let's. Alright, and we already ordered that. Can we add 3 of those? It looks like it. Yes. So actually, there we go. Now we just need to add the gas. Let's see. At least they do not require cable TV. So our fancy hipster guys want to cook with gas. And the cafe is really pushing almost a profit, so we could probably add more restaurants, so let's see. Is the food stall still sustainable? Nope. How our utility? Yeah, and then we have the problem that we actually have 110% water utilization, so our next problem will be, even if we are doing the gas, we will run out of water. Very nice home for one person. Yep, and then we are out of water in one apartment, so yeah, this is very hard to make profitable. Now we at least do have considerably more fancy clientele, but the problem is that we will be killed by the utility running costs. Like, yeah, we can't even quite afford to add the water service, so probably they will move out, and then we have less load on the water, but also less revenue, so it's kind of still unrealistic. We have electricity, so we could add. Let's see if we add another restaurant still here, because we have space. We can also add a smoothie bar. Requires, yeah, they also require a water pipe. Do all of these actually require a water pipe? Because it's like, yeah, how about that didn't apparently require a water pipe, so we do have selection of restaurants. Right, that is also like not certainly turning a profit. Unlike this almost is, because they have so many customers and regulars. Clearly the cafe is really popular. Alright, they moved out, so now we have water imbalance, but do think that we are going to run out of budget soon. Yeah, the cafe is ridiculously hot. Five regulars already. So that's now empty, so we can probably add normal like studio apartment here. We also otherwise get the water crisis again, so let's not add anything for now, because we do not have funds to produce water. So it's interesting, like everyone is rather happy. We should also add electricity hookup for so now they are probably at least happier. The cafe is gaining regulars, but it's like it's not realistic, because we are still running a deficit, so still no success. This is much harder than the first scenario. Like really towing the line in that respect, certainly. We need to try this again at some point, because that's much harder. It's surprising that already the next scenario is that much harder. We are also coming up to 2 hours, so let's see the budget data, like what is. Yeah, it's like the main problem is that we most probably have a problem with the, yeah, we are really being killed by the utilities. Everything else is we are paying 500 only for electricity, it's like the worst. That going beyond the 10 electricity available is really expensive. We could technically just like because everyone is quite happy, let's raise rents. It's like, yeah, rent is too high, but let's see if we raise rent for everyone. If they do think that if we raise rents by 25%, we are also going to be able to be profitable. Everyone gets high rents. It's an experiment. Let's see, like now we should be actually the next day we should be pushing a profit because we were quite close and everyone's rent increased. So let's see, next day we should be actually running a profit. Nobody is yet considering moving out, so clearly there was, now that we have every service like high-end whatever, we actually can push the rents a bit. Let's see, next day we should be actually running a profit. Interesting to see. And we are not unsustainable by any metric currently. Probably the cafe is like popular enough to be sustainable business. Yeah, the cafe is close to running a profit. They already have 7 regulars. The restaurants are kind of like, this especially has been doing quite poorly, like 4. 1 customer. Yeah, they are going to close at some point, but it is what it is. Let's see, with the increased rents, are we running a profit? Hey, what happens when you have too many services? Your landlord raises the rent. Surprise. Yes, we are now pushing a profit, so we can actually see about, as we are pushing enough profit that we can actually build another water thingy once we have like a couple of money more, so we can actually build another water thingy and expand. So let's run it fast another day, and as long as nobody moves out, we can actually start expanding again. So it's more sustainable now, as we can actually repay the loans while expanding the building. So increased rents, FTW. So clearly one also needs to run a bit firmer rent regime, because the basic rent level is not going to be sustainable. So now we have plumber and everything. Yeah, they are kind of like just mildly satisfied because rent is too high, but this restaurant is getting a bit more customers, but the cafe is popular, but it's like it needs to be even more popular for that to really work out. So if we can build the extra water thing, we can build another, and then we are running quite solid profit, because this is pure profit once we can add apartment here again. it looks like the cafe does worse every day, which is surprising. Like, they have now 7 regulars, but it's like it's still quite difficult. This is also getting more customers compared to the one in the back. Like, is it that if it's closer to the front of the house, because this has like 1 customer. Interesting. And this is like, how is that doing? Alright, we are running a profit for the first time. Now we can build the water thingy, so we can, because this will require 250 per day, but if we add 1 apartment that produces profit of 250 per day, it's sustainable. Could we actually even build the deluxe studio? Or let's see, if we build this, it will be 250. The deluxe studio is 225, so this is currently better. The luxury apartment 5 stars, yeah, and cable TV, yeah. This is 220. And rent level is maintained, so now we should be pretty sustainable. We just do not immediately have funds to pay more. And now we are paying the loans successfully, so this is almost sustainable. It would be good to have another floor of the these, because these are quite good profit driver. Building another floor takes more resources, so we need to wait a bit, but now we are like almost running this in a realistic fashion. So let's see if we can add another floor. Alright, they were displeased shortly. Time for a nice cup of joe. The cafeteria has been gaining a lot of regulars. They are not pushing a profit though. It's like none of these apparently. They are getting regulars, but it's like they have 1 regular here, so, but they are not leaving very quickly. It's better that the businesses are quite resilient, so this is moderately sustainable, and once we finish some of the loans, we can actually, we could use this, but this requires like offices also, so do think that building manager's office would be first. We would like once we have money to build something. How much does that cost? Alright, we are now pushing a bit more profit also. So we would like to, what does it need? We do have 1 star. It costs 500 to build. Would like to have the Union Hall, so you can also support unions. Yeah, and then this costs 500, so it's like we get 401 per day, so it might be good to let another day pass. Currently, is the cafeteria still pushing a profit? No, but they have 9 regulars, so it's like because we need 500, we can actually spend some on adding another floor. Like thereabouts, we are carefully building a floor. The doors cost 100, so we can't quite afford the doors yet. Like, yeah, we need also the stairs. At least it seems that you can get to the topmost floor, so we do not yet need stairs on the top. Alright. That needs to be continued next round, like after. The building manager's office should enable improvements in terms of how much space does it take. That's also alright. We will soon have funds. There we go. So we are pushing the profit of 401, so we can now actually see about building the. Alright, it's pretty big actually, but we can put it here. Because that should enable lowering the operating costs. Now that we have the building manager's office, that should enable unlocks new construction office. Optimize maintenance. Yeah. So the first one costs 500. Sure. This doesn't fortunately require anything. It doesn't require even electricity. We can use the rest to build like floor. So it's more or less sustainable, but it's quite slow going until we get more tenants in, and that takes space, but it also increases efficiency further on, so it's kind of meaningful to go that way. Alright, the cafeteria is still like not pushing a profit, but they are mostly happy because they are gaining more regulars, so maybe it will be profitable one day. Alright, it will be next day soon, so we can continue improving this thing. very gradual going. Now we have enough funds to add the wiring and plumbing closets, and then consider, like, yes, we have hopefully enough to build the water, and the office don't need any, so that kind of makes things easier. But we forgot the trash. Do they need trash containers on the floor if we do have the trash collection service? Buildings that don't have trash bins, so it's like... It should work then. So we can actually build the luxury ones, we just need to add the gas pipes next day. So it's kind of like, yeah, let's push the budget, because the luxury ones actually produce quite a good amount of rent, so. 13 regulars, so every regular goes to the cafeteria. This is still even open. Can we now get like the food stall? No. We need to still add the gas pipe, so how much does that cost? Alright, now we have funds to add the gas pipes, so we can make these deluxe. Apparently we still need to build the trash bins, because expects trash bins on the same floor. Let's see if they start complaining about the missing trash bins, so we know if we should construct that or not. Alright. Now we can place an AD, because we had $50 left over. Now we have tenants, and it requires the build cost, so we can't afford to build it before next day. No, well, let's still do one day and then see about building this. We've accumulated enough buzz to start a media campaign, but do think we need some media office or something. No, it works directly, so increase satisfaction, AD placements, infrastructure operating costs minus 50%. That would be quite good. Let's do that, it helps, certainly. It's a temporary benefit, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, they are not complaining, other than considering moving off, so we can lower the rent. But they are not complaining for the lack of the trash bins, so we can build another here. we should be pushing pretty good profit with all the tenants. And most of the tenants even satisfied. Yeah, now we are pushing almost 1000 a day, so and we can. Now they are only mid. There we go. And then we can also build the Bangkok Tea and Sweets highest rent, so we had a bit of revenue also. How are we doing? Alright, we are soon running out of. The gas is not an issue, there will be another user soon. Water is not an issue, mostly electricity will be. And with 1000 we can afford to add once we run out, so adding another floor will be still prudent. So now this is starting to look a bit more realistic, like it's somewhat workable with the balconies and everything. Yeah, so that should work alright. And now that we have more than 500, we can actually unlock a second larger construction office. But it's needed so we can do the rest of the optimizations. Oh, hello there, Kamu. Let's greet you properly. We are still continuing at least for a bit. Need to take the bus to work tomorrow morning, so in any case finishing in a bit so that actually wake up for the bus. But yeah, now we can like unlock another construction office, like not the best expense yet, because we are not construction limited. Yay! We should again play Darkest Dungeon also. Recon Pad reminds this one that we should again also play Darkest Dungeon soon. Do you think that adding another floor would be currently still prudent? We are stairs only apartment, because stairs make no noise, man. It at least keeps residents more happy, but do not think that they like climbing forever. Let's see if we can run the higher end here. Alright, then again speed up and see about. So let's greet the good path properly. So hello there. And indeed, we have been doing this already for a good while, actually 2.5 hours. So let's continue for a bit and then see about finishing. So this has actually gone very well for tonight. So let's then So let's then continue playing for a bit. So let's see. Now we need to wait a bit to get more funds, but otherwise we are in a quite good situation. We do not have any hangy residents. Residents seem unhappy or not. The cafe has 14 regulars, but they are still not running a profit. We can pull a bit of the electricity here, like, yeah. Is considering moving out. Alright, so the trash bins are a problem. So the trash bins became a problem. We can't anyway build the trash bins until next day, so it's probably easier if one of them moves out when we consider the expense of Alright, now once the there we go, now we can build the trash. There you go, trash bins installed. Now they have got the trash bins, so they are becoming happier. And now we have enough. Can we add anything useful in that space? We could add retail, but is it like... If we add food stall to such a non-prime location from the stairs, it's probably not going to run a great success, so let's continue with the infrastructure. Doing well, thank you, rather. Work has been what it is, but otherwise would say that have had pretty good week, like also finally found time again to suit up. Also been rather happy with the new VR equipment that got as far as have had time, and we are doing the VR chat community stream on Sunday, so there's also that. At least do think it was Sunday, but yes, it's on the schedule, and schedule has been published more widely, so we will have VR chat community stream. Alright, they also moved out, so let's remember to don't think it matters even if we, so now we can build one apartment there, and then not to forget the trash bins, so more studios, and then we have the trash infrastructure, so and then we might have what, like, can build one, yeah, 175, so let's try that again. Maybe they will be now happier with the trash bins provisioned. Alright, and now we have budget, so we can also build the rest of them. We just need to build the gas connection, so let's not forget that. So we have one luxury one and we have to add the gas connection. So now it's more realistic, most probably cost-wise. So if we wait another day, we can then add the other two, because we can build the gas for those. Let's also see what was the scheduling intent. Do think it was so that we intended to have the community stream on Sunday to think, but yes, now do have the proper equipment, so we are, yes, on Sunday starting 7 in the evening we do have VRChat community stream, and now we do indeed have the proper equipment for. So let's do one more day and build like the couple more apartments, and then how are we running out of, yeah, we are not building anymore until we add electricity. Currently we have to wait more than one day to add electricity, so gas we have and water we have, but electricity is like 3 starts to be, so that we should upgrade, but it's 2000, so we are gradually also paying the loans, so then it's meaningful, because then we can take nicer loans. And we are getting close to having also like 5 more tenants, and we can have the second prestige star and can take a bigger loan for bigger improvements. Right, we do have enough money to build third electricity cabinet, but it will be 750 per day in maintenance, so it's most probably so that we should next just take out a loan and build the bigger electricity thing. Yeah, because we will be paying as much maintenance for the 30 as we would be paying for 50. So it's kind of a bad bargain, but we are currently making 761 per day, so we can afford pushing the less than good idea with the electricity for time. And now that we have more electricity, we can build the gas line and open those, which immediately gives us almost 500 more revenue. So it's like you have to spend to make. So now we are at least technically only, we will have at some point an issue with that we have this high building with just stairs. The elevators are expensive because they also have to be maintained, so this is an interesting situation in that respect, that we are. Yeah, the stair starts to be plenty fun for people, like with our amount of residents growing, are we actually yet profit with the cafeteria. Like, amusingly, they are gradually getting less popular, which is surprising. Like, they have 15 regulars, but only 10 customers yesterday. Alright. This is moderately popular for the price. Now we have all the tenants in place again. Alright, we are not out of any utility resources currently, so now it's like, let's see what profit we get next and then save the game to think that we are finishing, so that actually wake up the catch the bus also at 6:30, so we'll be still this Friday taking the bus to work, so but we have more stream on schedule tomorrow. Alright, and now we are pushing a bit bigger profit. Yes, almost 1,000 per day, so we will be able to eliminate the loans at this rate. Much better. So yeah, now we can again consider adding a floor. We need to first of all add the stairs maximum height. Like, how about 7 floors to your new fancy apartment? What do you think, Kamuniak? Stairs an issue. Maximum use of stairs. Yeah, that's true. Bat is happy at the stairs then. Nice. Right, and we have 300, so we can almost build also the cabling. Pretty touch and coated. Right, and that was what we had funds for. So speed it up, and then they build the buildings. And then we can add the slots for the housing, though we do not yet have any means of actually building them because they cost more to build. But now we wait one more day, build those, and then we should be on pretty good way to even repaying. So it's like then our costs will drop immensely once we stop paying 450 a month in the loans. So yep. So it is then going to be alright, and can we do something about this? Alright, not really the main issue. I wish there were some elevators. Yeah, rent is too high. Residents seem unhappy. Don't know where the strange smells keep coming from, but let's build something else in that place next. And try the upper floor, because none of these are actually not very satisfied, but it's not the only problem is that the residents seem unhappy here, which is hard because it's like rent is lower than expected. Alright, let's see. None of these are moving out, they are just like content. Now we have funds to build these, so do we now have cash connected to all of them? Nope, so we need to build also. Connections. Alright. Alright, we will need maintenance office next also, so let's save game here, as we are almost like gradually running the loans to ground, and we start to need renovating these because our first units are like getting worn down, so we need the maintenance office, and then it also costs to renovate. So let's save here. And then finish. It's been very nice. First one of the year. So there we go. Exit the main menu and switch to. There we go. So that was really nice actually. Almost 3 hours, so it was really good stream, and then we are good to see who we will raid. We have very nice viewership, so let's see who we will raid, and there will be more tomorrow. We are tomorrow going to be doing Lord of the Rings, Return to Moria, new game. Let's see how the dwarves reclaim Moria in the 4th age and see if that game works for us at all or excellently. We'll see. So let's see who's doing what. Oh, you'll get to join sooner one of these days again, Kamu. It's always great that you join us. Out of Jody streaming Helldivers. Let's go for this potat, Mr. Spot. Yeah. It's been a while, like, alright, there's in addition to the potat, there's a mini potat, alright, Mr. Out of Jod. Yeah. There we go. Alright, let's try again. maybe we even type it right, the third try. There we go. Alright, thank you for joining, and we'll see tomorrow with Return to Moria. Let's see how the dwarves do with starting over again. Be well and see you tomorrow.